Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University and Cloak and Dagger, issue number 1 of 6. Now this is going to be a digital-only comic book, so go to Comixology, you'll find it there. Boom, you're good, you're golden. If you want to wait, then you can get the trade paperback, but that's going to be a while. Because this, unlike most digital comic releases, digital-only releases, which are usually weekly, this one is actually a monthly. So you're looking at about 6 months until the final issue comes out. And then it's usually, 2 months or so after that, that'll actually come to trade. So 8 months to a year? Yeah, good luck with that. Meanwhile, this is absolutely worth getting digitally. Now, if you're, you really have to decide which way you want to go with it, wait or not. I'm not the waiting type. I enjoy actually just reading the comic books as they come out, digital or otherwise. So this is a really good book, and I had a lot of people asking me, especially in the most recent podcast, hey, come on, dude, check it out. You got to go and read this. Technically, it was paid for. Somebody actually paid me to read it. So yeah, I could not. Anyway, this is fun. All right, Dennis Hopeless is doing the writing on this. Dave Messina is doing the pencils. On Comixology, it says that Dave Messina does all the art. Nope, sorry. You got to be a little bit more specific. He does the pencils. Elisabetta D'Amico does the inking, and Giada Marchisto. Please don't kill me if I ruined your name. I'm so sorry. But there's the colorist, and the indelible Travis Lantham does the letters. The guy's name is on almost everything, but Corey Petit also, but they really like VC over there at Marvel. All right, so the comic book is definitely enjoyable. There are some glaring problems for long-time Marvel readers, in so much that Tandy wants to be without Cloak. So Dagger wants to be without Cloak. Dagger, Tandy Bowen, she wants to go off on her own. She wants to try and make a name for herself, I guess, and stop with the idea of leaning on Cloak so much. There comes a part where people start shooting at her, and she starts dodging and ducking and getting out of the way. And she's always been fantastic with her acrobatics. And she says, wow, I'm not used to having to dodge. My D game is really low because I'm used to having a boyfriend who will absorb all the bullets. Kind of, yes, but he's usually always still in the back. Regardless, she is on her own. She's working with a special operations police force, kind of like a SWAT. And she's basically going in alone without Cloak. She doesn't even want him around. She thinks she sees him around. She does. And he's trying to hide in the shadows. She's like, nah, go away, dude. It's just me. I need to be alone. I need some me time. So he's trying to stay away, but he's also watching from the shadows as she goes about her day, going about her missions, because she wants to make sure that she can actually do this on her own, but he wants to make sure that she's actually safe. So I like the protective nature. Cloak has always been protective of her. So that's great. That's still there. At the same time, Cloak and Dagger kind of have a symbiotic relationship. You know, at the very least, it's sympathetic. She needs to release her energy all the time, and so she could just, start throwing it out willy-nilly, whatever, but he needs to absorb energy all the time. So while he certainly needs her more than she needs him, he still needs her. Otherwise, he's going around and he's sucking people's life force out, by sending them through the dark dimension and keeping them in there until they're almost dead. He needs that light from their souls. So, I don't know how he's going about doing things. We're going to see a lot more about him later in issue 4. That's when we're going to get his side of this story. So we don't know why Tandy wants to be by herself, but she does. Meanwhile, motorcycle outside at 3:15 in the morning, and she gets to the very top of this mansion that she's going in and beating up all these bad guys in, and when she gets to the top, the main bad guy there, this lady, I forget her name, but she has her life force completely drained. She's completely gray. Now, later on in the comic book, you realize that Cloak had actually done that on one of his first outings. He accidentally completely drained someone's life force. Interesting. So what happens now? She starts thinking that, maybe Cloak was there and Cloak had done this, and she's really scared and mad at the same time. In the meantime, she doesn't really want to face all of this stuff, and we don't necessarily know why. Not yet. So we're going to have about 3 issues of this total, about 2 more issues of Tandy's side of the story with a little bit of Cloak. Cloak is off someplace else. He's working as not a bodyguard, but like a security detail someplace. And he beats up a pickpocket. That's literally, like, that's what he does. But around issue 4, we're going to get Cloak's side of the story. In issue 5, they're both going to meet up and try and figure out what's going on and start teaming up again. And in issue 6, that's when they're going to come to the final conclusion of this. Comixology just has all that stuff already available. So the solicits for all 6 of the comic books are up on Comixology if you want to skim through and check out what they are. There's I'm not going to tell you, but you can go and look. They actually have the name of the bad guy. I looked up the bad guy, and while I've seen a couple of things that could actually be what they're talking about, I have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm imagining this is just a made-up character in Marvel by Hopeless and Messina. And I have no idea who this character is right now, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. In the meantime, I'm not going to say this is a solid comic book because it's purposely left to be a bit ambiguous, so you don't have a clue as to what's going on, and we're probably not going to have a good solid idea of exactly what's going on until issue 4. Now, that's dangerous. That's dangerous because the next issue, and of course the issue after that, the 3rd issue, usually if you don't have answers by the 2nd issue, people are usually a little bit put off. You know what I'm saying? So this is one heck of a way to do things. But hey, if it pays off, if that 4th issue, if enough people stick around, if it's interesting enough to stick around until you start finding Cloak's side of the story, then this could wind up turning out to be a solid series. But I can't see the individual issues being solid until around issue 4. Maybe later. We'll see. The comic book is still enjoyable for right now. The art is still great. I love it. It's exactly perfect what it needs to be for this digital comic book, this exclusively digital comic book. After that, it's really going to be in your hands. Go and check out the preview. You can see the first 4 pages. Well, technically the cover of the first 3 pages on Comixology. And if you like it, by all means, I think that you might. I think that you just might. Cloak and Dagger is probably best in 4 or maybe in this case 6 issue miniseries. They're not the most popular characters in the world. I still haven't seen the Freeform first 2 episodes that came out yet, but Cloak and Dagger don't do well in an actual lengthy series. So having limited editions each time, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And we'll see how this one goes. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.